the scenario of walking into a place and your ex-girlfriend's there and your current girlfriend's there and one of your side pieces is there, and it's all just happening at once. And I've lived that it probably more times than I can count on my hands. And it happened yesterday. I'm at an event. Other ex-girlfriend, who's best friends with the ex-girlfriend, side piece. If you are ever wishing to be in that position, you don't want to be in that position. Get with girls that are not connected to each other. It is not worth it to get with girls that are connected to each other. It's just gonna lead to baggage for you to deal with, because they're women. Women feel stuff heavy in the moment, but they just move on from it. It's why whenever you're talking to a girlfriend or a friend that's a girl, they'll talk about how they can hate her one moment and be best friends with her the next. Women are weird and can do that, but us guys, we feel things, and those things linger around. So anyway, I talked about that yesterday. That's not really what I'm talking about. It is so weird though. It's so weird seeing two chicks that you got in the middle of them one time. And I was like, damn, you were mad because I was getting her cheeks, and now y'all want to act like it's cool. That's just a funny situation to me. And yes, I am talking about the situation from what my outro song comes to. The don't date your ex's friends. This is the situation that comes from. FYI, a little ball knowledge for y'all. I was having a conversation with my brother the other night, and he's in a very similar situation to where I was at that age, where he's out of high school. He didn't go to college. He's trying to find his way in life, his purpose, you might say. And when I was talking to him, the thing that seemed very apparent in his head as the biggest thing for him was he was like, I need a girl, I need a wife, I need somebody to talk to. He's like, I want somebody to be able just to lie there with. What I think he was saying, without knowing, he's like, for me to feel like I have a good life, I need to have a girl. And what I want to get at is, I felt the very same way coming out of high school, because I was very hell-bent coming out of high school, and I'm gonna figure out my own way. I'm gonna find my purpose. I'm gonna start a business or whatever. And for a long time, I was in a pit not knowing what that was. And the way I got out of that pit was with a woman, and I got into a relationship, and it felt like I had purpose again. Life felt good. I was chilling, I was motivated and whatnot. And then eventually with that, I started to make some way larger steps towards finding my purpose after doing that. But when that ended, I was completely and utterly gutted, and it completely and utterly wrecked me and actually changed the course of my life forever. But what I'm getting at is, when you don't know who you are in life, when you don't have that purpose, and you kind of depend that purpose on love, specifically one-on-one love from a partner, love from a woman or a man, if you're a woman watching this, it gives you a fake perception that you have found your purpose. And actually, I know why that is. I looked it up a little bit. The mind has a difficult time separating, I feel loved, my life makes sense. I would say, when you find your purpose, it feels like your life makes sense. It feels like you have clarity. I feel loved and my life makes sense. Very hard for the mind to separate those two things. They're very intertwined. And I would say, for the young man growing up, one of those is love, having a woman, and one of those is trying to find your way in life. And it goes both ways. If you have one without the other, it can make you think you have the one, but you don't necessarily have it. And would I say that right now it's more important to worry about finding your purpose rather than finding love? Yes, I would say that, because I think ultimately, if you don't have your purpose, if you don't know who you are and whatnot, and you get into love, when that love is stripped away, it's going to hit so much harder, because now your perception of what your purpose is was only that love, and you don't have anything to fall back on. When you have your purpose and you know what you want to do, you have that to fall back on if the love doesn't go to plan. And I think ultimately you need to figure this out to be able to be the best partner and have a lasting, loving relationship. I'm really in just like a lover boy mode lately. Certified lover boy. I love that. I love certified lover boy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like I'm not a new generation. I guess you could technically. No, I'm not a new generation Drake fan. I would say I'm a middle generation Drake fan. Like Take Care and Views and whatnot. I wasn't necessarily tapped into Drake when he was dropping those. Like I know of those and I've listened to them now. But I've been listening to Drake. Like he drops on a Friday and I know the whole album by Sunday. Like the first one for me that happened with that was like Scorpion. Like when Scorpion dropped, I listened to Scorpion. And then was the EDM album. I didn't really listen to the EDM album because I never really got into EDM. But like then like Certified Lover Boy, Her Loss, for all the dogs. Like I listened to those albums as soon as they dropped and like fell in love with all those. I love all those albums. But I wouldn't say like I'm an OG Drake fan. Like I haven't been tapped into Drake that long, but I'm also like not that old, so it kind of makes sense. Like I didn't probably get into rap until 2018, so it kind of makes sense that I only started listening to Scorpion. So like yeah, like the stuff I've gotten into most is like the new generation Drake, but like I got into Drake, I would say like middle generation. What I want to do that Drake does, I want to be able to talk about love and make it seem cool. Like that dude can say the corniest shit about love ever, but his delivery, and he delivers it all types of ways. Like it could be on like one of his timestamp songs where he's just like straight rapping on a beat and it sounds fire. Or he could be on like his singing shit and it sounds fire. Or he could be on his like Rich Baby Daddy shit where he's kind of just goofing around, just like trying it, and it still sounds fire. I'm trying to steal that from Drake a little bit. I want to be able to talk about love in corny ass ways, but my delivery is just so fire and you just know it's coming from CK3000 that you're like, damn, nah, he's speaking fact. I would hope any of the chicks that I'm talking about in this video would watch this and they wouldn't think that it's cringy or whatnot. They would, first of all, they'd be like, damn, he's so insightful. But then also they'd be like, his delivery was just so smooth. His delivery is so smooth that I remember why I fell in love with him in the first place. But we ain't got to get into all that. To the young men out there, I think what I'm trying to get across is that love is not purpose, and you need to separate yourself from thinking that you having love or you being in a relationship of love is not your purpose, and your purpose is separate from that. And honestly, being able to separate those things will allow you to thrive in both of them. This is 100% just coming from my experience and how much not having purpose and getting into a relationship and that relationship becoming all my purpose just absolutely dragged me down and absolutely made me hate life to the point where ultimately like I didn't want to be walking around on this planet anymore, because I literally said it earlier, like your mind cannot, like, you know that Theo Von clip where it's like your mind can't tell the difference between reality and really visualize something? It's the same kind of thing here a little bit. But definitely if you're a young kid and you're trying to figure out your way in this world and you're trying to navigate love for the first time, it is definitely intertwined like some vines on an old fence. Like it is going to be really hard for you to separate those things. That doesn't mean just lock yourself in a room and just grind for what your purpose is and never talk to any women. There's a bunch of different things that like are like factors that women love, but I know the number one thing for me is women love when you know exactly what you're doing. When you know I'm going this way and I don't care about what gets in my way, I don't care about who's telling me to slow down, I'm going this way. Everything else, I'm going this way. And when women can see that in you, they'll see that as confidence, and they'll see that as, okay, like if I come into this guy's life, I'm not going to be the only thing. He's got something that he's hell-bent on. He's not going to treat me like this damn queen or whatever, because as much as women want to be treated like queens, they don't want to be treated like queens. But we don't got to get into all that today. But when women see that you're going this way and nothing's stopping you, and you're so confident in who you are and what you're doing and in your purpose, that you will attract and draw so many women. This is kind of a hypothesis. I have some data from studies. I've tested a little bit this out in the waters. I don't have I couldn't write a complete and utter scientific article on this and put it out there and say this is 100% information, but this is some tested information. This is what I'm trying to do. It's working a little bit. And if you have your purpose, the love will come. And don't think that the love is your only purpose.
Don't date your ex's friends. Don't date your ex's friends. Don't date your ex's friends.